So hello and a very good afternoon YouTube. My name is Dipayan and I'm back with another fresh video, and this time I'm going to remove the throttle body out of this motorcycle, the Honda Highness CB350, and clean it and put it back again. So I have done the basic removing stuffs, like as you could see, I have removed the seat, I have removed the fuel tank. Okay, so I have a dedicated video regarding removing of fuel tank and getting these things disconnected. These could be a little bit tricky, so if you want, you can watch that video wherein I explain in details how to do this. And I have also removed there's a particular chrome plate over here. If you remember, I removed that and the structure behind it, and I have also removed the accelerator cable. As you could see, they are kept over here like this, just to remove all the things there which are connected to the throttle body. Since I'm going to remove it, so the first task is to remove everything which is beside it or around it, just to get a hold of it properly. So that's for this side, and similarly on the other side I have also removed the chrome plate from this side and the structure behind it, and nothing else from this side. So the next step is I would be unplugging all the plugs which are there. So in all of these sensor plugs you would find a particular clip. Okay, so in this one the clip is behind it, so just press it and pull it towards the rear of the motorcycle and it's going to come out gently. Okay, do not need to exert a lot of pressure in removing any of these plugs. Okay, so that one is done. I would like to mention in this place that if you are finding it a little bit confusing, so you could take photographs when the plugs are attached, so when later on you go on and install this, so you would have a reference picture to put everything back. But as per my past experiences, I have been doing this in my previous motorcycles as well. So generally what happens, if you put back the throttle body in its position later on, so all these plugs and everything they fall into their position. So generally it's not a big deal to find the right plug for the right socket, and in any which ways they are identical, so they would go in their identical sockets. So that's there. But apart from that, if you feel it confusing, you could definitely go ahead and take a picture to keep it as a reference for later on when you go on and install it. Okay, so now let me unplug the other plugs over here. So this is another sensor. As you could see, there's a particular hinge kind of a thing over here. So I just press it and pull it, so it will come out. Okay, there, this one is out. There's another one on top, so just press it and pull it, it's gonna come out. So all three of these plugs are out now. Okay, as you could see, there is a particular hose which is over here connected, so we need to disconnect it. So I would just pull it gently and it would come out. Next in line, let's go on the other side and check out whether anything needs to be unplugged on this side. Well, nothing as such. Everything seems to be clear over here. Let's check it from top. Yeah, we have a jack over here, so that's the injector cable which needs to be unplugged, and before that you find this thick hose over here. So let me just remove it. It's just a clip kind of a thing which you press and release. Similarly on the other side you find this, so I'll just press it and it will come out. And once it is loose, if you pull it gently, it's going to come out. So this short piece is out. Let me just keep it over here safely, and now this plug will come out smoothly. This is basically the injector jack. Okay, Similar story over here. There's a clip, you just need to press it and pull it, and it's gonna unplug. So now we have this fuel line running over here, so let me just take that off as well. This one is similarly a press and pull system, so just press it and pull it, and it's gonna come out. A little bit of fuel could spill, so that's completely fine. So yep, once those are removed, you could see that the throttle body is completely by itself. There's nothing attached to it except the clamps. So we have to remove the throttle body from both the sides. Okay, it is connected to the air filter hose on one side with this screw. So the thread is on the other side, on the right hand side of the motorcycle, and it is also connected with the engine side. There's a manifold, a metal manifold rather. So it is connected with a 10 mm bolt over here, if you could see. Yeah, this bolt. Okay, so there's another one on that side, so we need to undo this one and the other one on the other side, and we need to undo this clamp which has a Phillips head on the other side, and the throttle body is going to become loose, and then we got to wiggle it out a little bit and check out in which direction it comes out, and it's just going to come out in my hand. That's the story. So now I'm going to put the camera on a tripod. It'll be in a still position, and I'm going to do this particular task. Okay, so yep, now I'm on the right hand side of the motorcycle. As you could see, the throttle cable, I mean the flywheel. So right, so over here on the right hand side, the throttle body is connected to the air filter hose over here, and you would find a Phillips head over here, right? So we first need to unscrew this. Okay, you do not need to take it out completely, but you need to hold with your left hand from behind, and so yep guys, after a bit of effort it did lose up, but in the process I had scraped the bolt head completely, so it requires a replacement, although these things are not that easily available. And this is the very reason I say that you should not try doing it by yourself, if you don't have these jugaads or have the knowledge of getting hold of a similar kind of a bolt or something like this, because these things could get sometimes very notchy, and they refuse to come out. So in my case I had loosened it by other means, but in the process I had scraped the head. So let's see, I would do some kind of jugaad over here. Of course I need to replace the bolt, otherwise I won't be able to tighten this one later on when I install the throttle body back. So as of now this thing is loose, and I can go ahead and undo all the other necessary bolts to remove the throttle body. So as I said, there's a 10 number bolt on this side over here and another one on that side. So let me just unscrew this one first. So this is a 10 mm socket with a handle. As you could see, there is not much space over here, so you need something like this. So this is one of the bolts. Now let's go on the other side of the motorcycle and undo the other end 10 mm bolt. So yep, is it visible? Let me check. Yep, if I remove these, put these hose pipes aside, I think it's visible, this one. Yep, so this is the other side one, so let me lose this one as well. So there's a possibility that there's a gasket behind this, so be very careful about the gasket. It's not required to replace the gasket as long as you do it very, very carefully. So the whole thing is now a little bit loose. As you could see, it's moving. So yep, now is the most tricky part over here. Okay, we just need to figure out, which way it's going to come out. Of course, it's not going to come out from the top. It's either going to come out this side or from that side, but with the help of a little bit of wriggle. Okay, so first things first, we need to, as you could see, this is the hose. Okay, the air filter hose. I had loosened this clamp, right? So it's going to come out from there and then slowly come out either this side or that side. That I got to figure out. So let me first, take it out from this hose. This hose has to go off. So if you're doing it for the first time, you could take the help of a friend or anyone to, help you out with this particular task. Since I have done this in my CBR and my other motorcycles as well, so I just give it the gentle amount of time it needs to, do this. Now, if required, a lot of people, use screwdrivers or anything to ply out the thing, but I am very much against it, since that could cause problems like it could leak it could pour a hole over here. So my way of doing things is a little bit different, to stay on the safer side and not damage things. So yep, now if you could see, the thing is outside its hose, right? Even if you see it from the top, like, see, it's out. Okay, this one was the hose, it was inside this one, so now it's out and it's just hanging around. So I just need to figure out how to take the thing out. So is there a gasket? Do we have a gasket over here? Yes, we do. So there is this thing is there, so you got to be very careful. There's an o-ring over here and an o-ring on the other side as well, and there's a notch over here. So the notch part is going to stay towards the throttle body and the flat portion is going to stay towards the engine. That's how it was placed. Okay, so let me just keep that aside and now continue to try to take out the throttle body. So yep, it's coming out from the other side, I believe. Yeah, just a little bit of wriggle. Actually, the ABS cables are coming in the way. I mean, the ABS hose pipes are metal, so they don't bend. So yep, so now we have the throttle body completely out. So this is basically what we are looking at. This is the engine side. There, that shiny thing is the injector. Okay, and it's pretty dirty. I mean, dirty enough to have it cleaned. And this is the other side, the air filter side. pretty decent, not much cleaning required, but since I would be cleaning it, so of course obviously I would be cleaning the whole thing. A little bit of more dismantling is required in this one, which we will do in some time, and we would see how much of it I could dismantle and work on it. As in some time, I would go to my room and I would make all the arrangements and then start disassembling this one and then cleaning it part by part and then again assembling it back. So yep, stay tuned. So hello once again guys, now I am back in my room, and as you could see I have a clean bowl over here. I just now cleaned it with fuel, fresh fuel, petrol out from the fuel tank, and we have the throttle body over here. I have 3M choke and carb clean, which is equivalent to any throttle body cleaner. Basically both of them are the same thing. I have a toothbrush which alone could do the job. You do not need a brush like this, but since I have it handy with me, so I would be using it. Otherwise I have also done this job with the help of only alone with a toothbrush. So, and I have my toolbox with me. I have a certain amount of fuel with me that's also required. You just cannot clean it with this one, okay? You need some amount of fresh fuel to clean off all the dirts over there. The reason being, this one is very volatile. The moment you spray on it, it evaporates, so it doesn't allow you the time to brush it off and clean it. So that's why first we need to clean it with fuel, fresh fuel of course, and then when all the dirts are kind of gone, you're satisfied with brushing off all the dirts and grimes which is there inside and outside of this throttle body, then you could use this 3M choke and carb clean, and that you're also going to save some money, because this thing is costly, okay? It costed me around 400 rupees, so it's not cheap, so use it intelligently. So now that being said, let me now break some myths which are there for this throttle body, which generally people have a misconception about. So I'm having my coffee, black coffee as usual. So yep, now see guys, this is the throttle body, okay, and this is the injector. So people have this misconception that every time they take out the throttle body to clean the throttle body, they need to clean the injectors too. I mean the holes which is there, it is a separate procedure. I agree to the fact that sometimes in there are situations that when you need to clean the throttle the injectors as well with the help of a specially made tool, by which you need to spray the choke and carb cleaner or the throttle body cleaner, and at the same time provide some external power to this power socket over here to spray the throttle body cleaner, injector cleaner, so that the dirt, if at all it is there in the injector holes over there, the sprayer holes over there, it comes out. But on a general service interval where you take out the throttle body to clean it, you do not need to clean the injectors. I have never done that in any of my motorcycles, and all my motorcycles were good to go. See, the work of the injector throughout its life is to spray fuel, and fuel by itself has a lot of volatile chemicals in it, a lot of cleaners in it. We clean stuffs with fuel. So 24/7 whenever you're riding your motorcycle, that sprayer, the holes, they are spraying fuel, so they cannot get clogged that easily. Yep, if you're traveling far and in very remote locations where you refuel your fuel tank and you're suspecting that the fuel that you had received is somewhat bad quality and that went ahead and choked the throttle body or something like that, so in that case you might end up have to clean the injectors itself. But on a regular maintenance basis, if you're taking out the injector the throttle body to clean all these dirts, as you could see, dirt accumulation over here, so in such cases you do not need to even touch the injector. I had never ever in my life had taken off the injector to clean it. So, and in any which ways there is a filter, as I have shown in my previous video, where all the impurities, the major impurities get strained over there before it reaches the throttle body. Now you will see this side is completely clean. It hardly seems to require any kind of cleaning. But on the other side, it's filled with grime, and that's absolutely normal. This is the engine side. The combustion chamber is just beside it, so the combustion happens over here inside the head area. So a lot of carbon deposits and many other such things, they come in and deposit over here. So that's why from time to time it is required to take off the throttle body from the motorcycle, inspect it and clean it to your satisfaction. So that is the thing that we are going to do today. So that being said, now let us go ahead and clean this throttle body. And first in, what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean the externals. Okay, and once the external is clean, then I'm going to dismantle it as far as I can. Okay, and then we are going to clean the internals and then put everything back again in its original place. So as I said, first I'm going to clean it with fresh fuel, which is there inside that can. The weather has certainly become very cloudy. I don't know why. I hate this kind of weather. So if you're doing it inside your room, inside your home, be very careful, since petrol could be quite risky if not properly taken care of. If you are a smoker, or if you if you are having to do any kind of things with fire, so you have to be very, very, very careful. Otherwise, generally it is suggested to do all these petrol related jobs externally, I mean outdoors. So not much to talk over here, just be with the video. I would be cleaning it, the externals now, so with a fresh fuel. One more thing, guys, if you're having a sensitive skin, if you are having a sensitive skin, then it is also advised to wear a gloves while doing this particular job, since petrol has certain amount of corrosive nature in it. So when in contact with your skin, like it is in case of as you could see, so in that case there could be some, you'll might face some burning sensation or all such stuff. So if you plan to do this by yourself, and if you have a sensitive skin, make sure to wear a proper working gloves. So yep, I'm kind of done with cleaning all the external parts of the throttle body. So now I need to give it some time for all the fuel to evaporate, and with the help of this clean microfiber cloth, let me just give it some rub. What I have seen in the service centers, not only Honda but also in KTM, Kawasaki, everywhere, what I have seen generally, in the name of cleaning throttle body and of course charging for it, what they do, they open the air filter box, check out the air filter, start the motorcycle and spray this injector cleaner from there and rev the engine. Now I won't say that that's a wrong method, but that's a very, very shortcut method, wherein these kinds of impurities, these kinds of dirt and grime, they don't disappear. It's just that a little bit of cleaning takes place in that, but taking the whole throttle body out and cleaning it like this is a whole different story altogether, and it goes a long, long way. I have been doing things like this since the time I am riding a motorcycle with a fuel injection system. So, and it has worked well for me pretty much every time. just that you have to be careful about certain things. That's it. So yep, the external cleaning of this throttle body is done. As I can see, there are two, I believe these are 8 mm, right? 8 mm bolts over here, undoing which this thing should come off completely from this particular body. So let's just do that first. Sorry. So now both the bolts are loose, and let's see, by undoing it, where do we go? So okay, so basically this is one part and this is another one. So yeah, I think I did the right thing by opening it. I am getting to know a lot of opportunity, I mean a lot of scope of cleaning over here, which requires, if you could see, there are carbon deposits. There are carbon deposits over here as well, right? So if I had not taken this off, then cleaning these would have been not possible. I mean, not that well. So yep, nonetheless, I have taken it apart. So now cleaning would be much more easier. So first, let me, now as I said, guys, I'm not going to take off the injector. It's going to sit there. I am not taking it apart, and it is not required at the same time. As I said, it's not required to take out the injector. Let it sit in its place. So first, let me clean this. A lot of dirt, as I can see, sitting inside. Let me just clean it with this clean microfiber cloth. So now if you can see, it's so clean, just as a new one. And this is the right time to spray some injector cleaners into it. So yep, the choke and carb clean is ready, and we have the injector over here, right? So move it as far as possible from your face, because it might just return by hitting that. Okay, so that's all what is required. So once it is clean with the fuel, I mean with the petrol, then you could just gently spray the whole thing with the throttle body cleaner or the choke and carb cleaner. For the final cleaning. And once this is done, you could just gently rub it with a cloth. So just see the difference, guys, what it was before and what it is now. So that's it. That's for this particular guy over here. I have cleaned it as far as I can, and that should be absolutely fine. What do we have over here? So this is basically known as the butterfly flywheel, right? When we accelerate, this one moves, and the air comes in through the air filter. Air is being sucked through the air filter, which in turn gets the fuel along with it and goes inside the engine head, and combustion takes place. So first, let me take this thing out with the help of a screwdriver. So this is kind of a gasket, kind of a o-ring, as you could see. Let me keep that aside, because you do not need to, you do not want fuel or any kind of spray to touch these o-rings. They are very sensitive, they might go bad. So don't use fuel or any kind of sprays over any kind of o-ring, sealing materials. So once that is out of the way, now I can clean this baby. Oh, so first let me do it with fuel. Okay. Now from this is the air filter side. And this side as well. But keep it as far as possible from your face, because it has a tendency of coming back and hitting your face, which could give you burning sensation, which you do not want to happen. So once that is done, let me now keep this thing aside as well. This guy is also done. Okay, we can just rub it a little bit. I can still see some amount of dirt inside this one, so let me just put in the cloth. Maybe that was too rough, that's why it didn't come out. So try to figure out these things and clean it as far as possible. There's some grimes, some dirt are really nasty, so they don't want to come out that easily. So yep, that should be cool. So once that is done, let me just keep it aside as well. Regarding this o-ring, what you just need to do is get hold of the cloth and just wipe it very, very gently, because you do not want to break it, you do not want to tear it apart, right? So just wipe it gently with a cloth and it's good to go, right? You do not need to remove these things, because these are all sensors. Until and unless they go bad, you do not need to bother about them. Okay, so now let me just put back this o-ring. Now this is shape specific, so you cannot make a mistake in putting it back. It'll go in only one way, right? So once it is fixed, now let me put back the other part of the throttle body. Now that is also shape specific, so you cannot make a mistake again. So you see this notch over here and this thing over here, so these two are going to match, right? So you cannot make a mistake over here. And once that is in, you just need to screw in the two bolts which you initially taken off. Sorry, it's going to come in from the other side, right? So once it is tight, so we are kind of done with the cleaning of the throttle body, guys. As you could see, it's shining new. Everything is just perfect, it seems, at least. This throttle body is now ready to be put back into the motorcycle to continue doing its duty in optimal condition, right? So yep, the next part of the video, I would be going back to my motorcycle and I would be, installing the throttle body back to the motorcycle. So let me now, basically it's 2:45, so I would just have my lunch now, and then I would be back with my work. I would take you all down, set up the tripod and camera, and continue shooting the video, install the throttle body today itself, and we'll see. Okay, stay tuned, guys. So yep, now I'm back again in front of my motorcycle. I'm done with my lunch and everything, and it's now time to put the throttle body back into the motorcycle, right? So there are a couple of things to be done before that. So as you can see, it's now completely clean. I mean, as clean as possible. So yep, this is done. So let me just keep it aside for the moment, and there's a little bit of cleaning to be done there, so let's move on to that. Since I have removed the throttle body, so we have access to a few places over here which generally with the throttle body installed we will not be able to. So as you could see, this is the inlet from which the throttle body is connected to the engine side, and the combustion happens inside. So a lot of what do you call that, carbon deposits and a little bit of dirt and grime is also somewhat accumulated over here. So let's just spray the 3M choke and carb clean a little bit over here. As you could see, it's getting cleaned. Doesn't matter if it enters the engine head in the first start itself, it's going to get burnt and go out of the exhaust. So these things, these choke and carb cleaner, things like this, throttle body cleaner and all such stuffs, they are formulated in a way so that it doesn't harm anything inside. But nonetheless, 90% of it is going to get evaporated immediately. So after spraying it, just with the help of this rag, clean as far as your fingers could go inside. So that's the story over here. That's all what is required. So now you see this place. So now you see this place is looking much more cleaner than before cleaning it. So that's what I wanted. And after that, you could also clean the nearby places where it is difficult to clean when the throttle body is installed. So it's not every day that you remove the throttle body. So once that is installed, you have access to these locations where you could just gently clean it with a cloth. So the same goes for the air filter side, but not a lot of cleaning is required this side, since only filtered air comes in from here. So you do not need to spray anything over here. Just clean it with this cloth, with a clean portion of the cloth, of course. And that should be it. As a matter of fact, if you all remember, I had scraped this bolt while opening the clamp, right? so I had to get hold of a different bolt I had with me in my knickknacks. So this bolt is going to do the job for the time being. I mean, it's fine. I mean, even if I don't replace it with a spare, then also it's going to do its duty fine, no problem. This one is also a Phillips head, so shouldn't be a problem at all. So let me just clamp it on to the hose first before installing the throttle body. So you have to place it in such a way so the thread is on that side, which was the case before, and there's a particular hole over here and there is a particular notch in this tube over here, so that notch is going to go and sit inside this. So that's how it's been designed. So I'm not going to alter that. I mean, why should I? If the company has made a design in that way, so let it be that way, no problem. So just keep it loose so that the throttle body could enter from over here, right? So this is my oil can, right? Please pardon me, it's in a messy state. I mean, very dirty. Nonetheless, it's going to do the job. So this is the throttle body, right? And this is the butterfly side. I mean, the throttle cable comes in and gets attached to these, and this is a moving part, right? So since I had sprayed the 3M choke and carb clean, or if you have done with the throttle body cleaner, doesn't matter, it makes it very dry, okay? And since this is a moving part, it needs a certain amount of lubrication. So just for that, I'm going to put in a few drops of oil over here. And after doing that, just so this is just for that smooth feel of the throttle. It helps in smooth operation of the throttle and goes a long way. Yeah, sure, it attracts a little bit of dirt, but that's okay. You need to lube certain places just for the feel factor. So now that much of oil is enough for this job. You do not need to over lube it, not required. So after that, now what we need to do is we need to put in some amount of lube over here, okay? Just a little bit, and then dab it with your hand all over. Since this is going to go and sit inside the air filter hose, so that it slips in snug. That's why this thing is, the oil is being poured in over here. It makes the work a little bit easier. You could also put in grease over here, but I prefer oil over grease in this particular case. Now the throttle body is ready to be put back. Now I hope you remember this guy, right? This came out from the engine side. It sits in between the throttle body and the engine. So this one also needs a little bit of cleaning. You do not need to spray anything in this one, since this one has O-ring gaskets on top of it, both sides. So just clean it with the cloth and it should be fine. So that is also done, and as I said, this notch side, this one doesn't have any notch, so this one will be going and sitting towards the engine, and this notch side is the throttle body side. Like you see, the throttle body also has a curve over here, so this one is going to sit like this. This notch is going to go and sit on this curve like this. It's going to stay like this, okay, and go and get seated on the engine. So now I'm going to I don't know how to show this in the camera, but I'm just explaining it to you before starting the procedure. So what I'm going to do is I'm again going to wiggle it inside. Let me just check. I'm not sure, maybe the air filter side will go first, and after that this one, or maybe this one will get seated first, then the air filter. That I'll figure out while doing the job, but nonetheless the whole idea is to install it back, and there will be two 10 mm bolts, one on this side, one on the other side, which is going to get bolted towards the engine, and then the air filter hose is going to come and sit on top of it. That's it. Oops, I nearly dropped it. So that's the story over here. So let's start the procedure now. Okay, so first we need to just gently bring it to its position. Now guys, please do take your own dear time doing this, okay, because if you do it wrong, you could even end up damaging stuffs, and we do not want that to happen. So this hose, this air filter hose, you have to, wriggle it a little bit here and there just for this to get accommodated, right? So the hose is now a little bit on top of the throttle body, and we have the clearance for the throttle body, right? So at this portion, I have this thing still in my hand. It's not inside, so I'm keeping it aside, and I'll try to put the air filter hose in first. So as I said, a lot of people use screwdriver or any kind of such stuffs to do this particular thing, but I do not suggest that, since that could end up damaging things, which which is something we do not want. So if you find that it's still not going in, so that means the screw over there is a little bit tight. I mean, the belt screw over here, this one. So I need to loosen it a little bit, and it's definitely going to go in like a baby. So now I have loosened it, and this should go in easy. So yep, finally it's in. Well, generally guys, it doesn't take this much of an effort, but sometimes but this is the only procedure. I mean, there's no other way. So yep, now it's time to put this thing back. Okay, so now that we have the throttle body in its place, let's try and put this thing. Now it's going to be again a tricky affair. Now we are in a stage, guys. What I found, that I initially thought that I would slip in this one after it goes into the air filter side hose, but that was not possible. I mean, I barely had the space to slip this one in, so I again had to I again had to take this out, and now we are in a situation that this thing has some space over here. So I would slip in this one first over here, after checking that the O-rings are seated well, both the O-rings. And as I said, the flat side with no notches is going to go towards the engine, and the side with the notch is going to stay towards the throttle body, right? So let me just slip in this one over here like this, and then keeping it there, I have to put it inside the air filter hose. Now that could be a challenge by itself, but let's see. That's the only way to install it. As I said, I'm doing it for the first time, so that's why it is a little bit tricky. Things were a lot easier there for the CBR, but nonetheless, all bikes are different. So the throttle side is somewhat into place. I mean, the throttle body, the engine side is somewhat in place, and the air filter side is doing the nautanki. So as I said, guys, these things, if you don't have the proper knowledge, don't try to do it. Have it done by a professional, from a good professional, not from any local garage, from at least from somewhere who has the idea of these things. Okay, otherwise, not only are these things costly, but you won't be able to get it. I mean, you have to place order for these things, over the counter, and it's going to take some time for the part to arrive, and you got to wait that time, and your bike will be stranded during that time. So all such stuffs. So I'm very close now, just a little bit of wriggling. Yep, things are looking good. Yes, now things are absolutely in place. That fiber body in between the throttle body and the engine is also in its place, and the throttle body is inside the air filter hose. I just have to slip on the clamp, which is child's play, not a problem at all. So where are we now? Let's see. Yep, so as you could see, this thing is in its place now, hanging around in the air filter hose. So now it's time to bolt in the 10 mm bolt this side, and you have to be very careful because the fiber part is also there in between, so you have to align it properly and then put in the bolt. So just hand tight it. You do not need to tighten it with the spanner at the moment. Once this side is done, let's go on the other side. As we know, there is another bolt this side, the 10 mm bolt. So making sure that the plastic, the fiber gasket is in between into place, just thread in the bolt. Now it's time to slide in the this clamp, which you see hanging over here. There's a particular groove, as we know, and there's a particular notch underneath where the clamp has to get seated. It gets seated in a particular position. So yep, it's now seated. Everything seems to be just fine. So now I am going to first slowly tighten this one. I mean, not fully tight, but just snug. Once you feel that snuggish tight, so that's where you stop. Okay, and now it's time to tighten these 10 mm bolts, which is on the engine side. So let me get hold of the spanner, and we would start from the other side. So basically the tough part is done, guys, which was to place the throttle body in between the engine and the air filter. So that's the tough part, which is already been done, and it's done successfully. No damages has been caused to any of the plugs or anything. We need to give the final tightening. But make sure not to tighten it too much, since we know that there's a fiber gasket sitting in between. Okay, just about it. I mean, you do not want to, put a lot of pressure in this one. Okay, once that is done, it's now time to put the air filter side thread completely in its place. I mean, I had just hand tighten it casually, I mean lightly. So let me now go ahead and tight this one completely. Okay, so now the throttle body is completely tightened, it's not going anywhere. And just check all the surrounding areas in the air filter side hose, whether all the diameter of the hose is completely seated properly in the throttle body. Sometimes it does happen that one of the sides remains open. That should not be the case. Just make sure about that, and once you're happy about it, it's basically installed. The throttle body is now successfully installed back into the motorcycle. I mean, physical installation of the throttle body is done. Okay, so now let's try and put in all the plugs and everything, right? So like I said, guys, if you want, you could take a picture of it while opening it, but as I said, the plugs and everything, they fall into its proper location. So in my case, I didn't find that necessary. As you could see, this plug, it falls directly over here, so it is going to go and sit over here. The other one, this one, is going to go and sit over here, right? And this one is going to go and sit over here, right? And make sure to put the boot on top of it, I mean the covers which is there provided to protect it from water and external dust and all such stuffs. So once that is done, we have this hose, which, if you remember, I had taken it apart from this particular nozzle. There's a particular nozzle over here, right? So let me just put it back, right? And this one came out of this charcoal canister, so let me put that back as well. Done. More or less done with this side. So there's nothing basically on the other side except the accelerator cable, but there's a plug over here hanging around, which is the injector one. So let me just put that back as well, and the boot also along with it. Okay, so everything seems fine, and now let us put the fuel line over it, which was there. So just slide in the fuel line and press it a little bit with a click sound, right? And it is seated. Okay, and we have this pipe also to install. So now there is a small opening and a big opening, and the pipe is also like that, smaller this side, bigger this side. So the bigger end is going to go over here, and the smaller one is going to go over here. Once done, put in the clamp in its location, in its place. Right, so that is all done. Okay, good to go. So we have the fuel line over here, and we have the electrical connection wire over here, and everything else is back to its original form, right? So now what do we have left? So now we need to just quickly, put in the accelerator cable back to its place. And so now let me pause here for some time, guys, and put everything back to its place, and then I will continue the video, because basically the throttle body is in its position. I just need to tie these throttle cables to its this rotor, this flywheel, and I'll put in the covers and everything, so and then it will be done. So I would do this in fast forward mode. Okay, stay tuned. So yes, guys, the work is completely done successfully. If you see now, everything is just the way it is supposed to be. So let me just start it up one more time for you. So no engine malfunction light over here, as you could see. Things are just fine without throttle. So that completes this episode, guys. In my previous video, I had shown you all how to clean the fuel filter, which is sitting inside the fuel pump, which is inside the fuel tank. And in this video, I showed you how to take out the throttle body from the motorcycle, disassemble it to an extent, just for the purpose of cleaning it. Then I cleaned it, and then I installed it back in the motorcycle. Although I had to face a few challenges, but nonetheless, that's just part of the job. You face challenges when you do something for the first time. So if you like this video, please do hit the like button and share this video with your friends and family, so that even they could also benefit from these knowledge that I share. And if you're new to my channel, or if you have not subscribed to my channel, please, I would request you all to kindly consider subscribing to my channel, so that whenever I come up with these kinds of informative videos in this channel, y'all will be able to see it and will be able to benefit from it. So that being said, it is a very cloudy day over here in Kolkata. As you could see, it's just around 5 p.m. and it's been cloudy the whole day, a weather which I don't like at all. But nonetheless, I'm happy the job got done properly. And yep, it's now time to say goodbye, guys. Please take good care of yourself, guys, and have a lovely evening ahead. Bye bye.